everybody. Look, that was weird. I have to tell you, that was very strange, but good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is going to be an incredible Wednesday, a wonderful Wednesday. What are you talking about, Culture Wednesday? That's right, and unfortunately, RIP, it's going to be a Wendt Wednesday. But let's talk about a Warner's Wednesday, and let's talk about a wow, Pedro is a sick dude. Pedro's a very sick dude. In fact, if you go and you check last night's video, which rolled into this morning with Paul Chatto commenting and many others, I'll just say Pedro's a real creep. Yep. I don't think it can be denied. But that's not what I'm here to talk about primarily, although I do want you to watch all my videos. We've got another one coming out later today. I just want to say hi to each and every one of you. So let's say hi to Walter Tomaszewski, who says that every time AMC Theaters looks as it will crash and burn, it pulls itself out of a nosedive. Yep. I think the management is just trying to grasp at straws to give it something that will give it life everlasting, which included, I guess, investing in a minerals company, which ultimately may lift it up. I don't know, but we want AMC and many of the other major theater regionals and locals to do well. We need good movies to do that. That's the imperative at this point. There's our favorite polar bar. I got a good bear story for you today, courtesy of the Bat Cap. We've got Weatherman over on the Green Machine. La Machine. There you go. We are working on some more dancing emojis, believe it or not. Got some costumes I'm putting together. Want to say thank you to Weatherman for gifting a Culture Casino membership. The lovely wrenches are already at work, including Jill Powers, who's using her wrench effectively. Angela Richter just gifted a Culture Casino membership. I want to say thank you so very much for that. There it is right there. Angela bringing the tiger. Gotta love the tiger. Scott Shook is out there. Great to see you, my friend. Is This Live is in the house saying hi to Penny. And of course, we do have Penny. That's right. Lucius Nature Triste in the house, giving us our Latin in the morning, along with Crazy White Boy. That's right. Tobach is in the house, gifting a lovely Rumble rant this morning. My goodness, look at that. And we'll have to get to that in just a few moments. Mr. Cat is in the house. And we've got a few others creeping in the door, like Ms. Pick Cafe, who is here as well. All right, everybody. Let's wind into it. Say thank you for all the amazing things that all of you bring every single day, each and every day, in fact. And our good friend, SFXF 314 Saber-2 Raptor for $5 says, I think AMC will launch McQuack. I don't know what that is. Always survives bad landings. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. A little reference there to some Disney humor. Hey, Tim Hayes. What's up, Timmy? And the lovely Cynthia Carter. All right, folks, we need to get cooking. We got a lot to get to. 6 minutes starts now. Apparently not. Let's try again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are and whatever you're watching. Thanks for checking out the 6 Minute Daily. We have a lot to talk about, not a lot of time to do it in. And the biggest loss we had actually was Norm. Norm, gone. George Wendt died at the age of 76. This is something that happens to us as we get older. The man won and was nominated for just an absolute enormous number of Emmys. And I just want to say thanks to George for a lifetime of memories and humor. Moving on, though, we have the number one story of the day, which, believe it or not, is not as bueno as you would like it to be. You see, Warner Brothers got hit by the junk status hammer, which means that S&P downgraded them. I think Moody already had them kind of on the way down. Just basically calling them out for their overwhelming debt. If they have overwhelming debt. So does Disney, and they have for a long time. So I'm looking forward to the massive downgrade that Disney deserves as well. Is this a big deal? No. Will they split the company up? Probably not now, but they need to do some massive planning and some quality spending and get out of the political game that's actually been holding them back. Lilo and Stitch looks good. I've seen this from both Film Threat and from the folks here at Hollywood Reporter, and it looks like it will definitely exhaust parents, which it should. Live action usually does, especially off of something that's popular. But I think Lilo and Stitch is going to do very, very well, and I'm looking forward to seeing it day after tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm seeing Mission Impossible. Hunger Games: The Sunrise on the Reaping is coming. That's right. The prequel is going to do, I think, probably pretty well, and it doesn't have Rachel Zegler in it, so I think it'll do really well. Elle Fanning is going to be Effie Trinket. That's right, the character played by Elizabeth Banks, who was really overly involved with themselves. So, should be good, I think, anyway. Splitsville. That's right, this is a film that premiered at Cannes, and the crew there, it should include Dakota Fanning, who features in a video that I released today, because she was being pimped out by Pedro, or at least he attempted to do that, at least that's what it seems, are talking about the state of independent cinema and how badly we do need it. Now, I am looking forward to this film. I was before this controversy and scandal, but I'm not really sure what these people can offer me in modern relationships, because I have one, and it's good, and it doesn't reflect anything I'm seeing in modern media. Emotional Kevin Spacey speaks out at Cannes about his blacklisting and all of the legal things that he had to maneuver recently, and he felt kind of effervescent, excited, overwhelmed at receiving an award during all of these trials and tribulations. House of the Dragon star Miley Alcock says someone very high up told her she needed an acting coach on the second day of the set. This is terrible. No, it's accurate. I have a feeling Supergirl will not do as well as you think, and I think people are going to come to realize this girl can't act and probably shouldn't be doing movies. We've got Live Nation going out and grabbing themselves a Trumpian, trying to avoid the DOJ probe that they so richly deserve for overcharging you for tickets for all these years. I hope it doesn't stop. I just think somebody's going to get a nice cushy job. Speaking of nice cookie jobs, you're seeing Trump drafting a lot of American business titans. Now, of course, the AP wants to say to burnish his image at home and abroad. No, it's to show that America is unified and as a solid business front and has good standards, practices, and companies that we look to support and elevate. We also are looking at what they're doing in the houses of Congress, trying to bring the big, beautiful bill to fruition. The AP, of course, goes out of their way to do the most negative coverage, which is their jam. Speaking of their jam, Target's in a jam. Their sales are going to drop in the first quarter, and the retail warns they will slip for all of 2025, probably because they're going to practice the same methodology as Walmart and overcharge you for things for tariffs that don't exist on goods. You have UK inflation rising at its highest level since January 2024, and there's a reason for that. Prices spike. Well, one of those spikes was because they decided to overcharge the elderly for fuel subsidies. They're going to change that policy, supposedly. I don't believe them. And finally, Germany's economy, which we've been talking about for months now, is going to stagnate this year. Now, they're trying to say or trying to blame some of that on the tariffs. That's inaccurate. Actually, it's an outright lie. And Fortnite is coming back to your iPhone. That's right. The U.S. is forcing this issue, and that exile will end, including it'll open up a nice market for everybody else. And finally, fridge raiding bear and cub duo can't get enough of L.A. County Woman's Kitchen, and they keep showing up again and again. And here they are, these wonderful California bears. They just keep breaking into the woman's house, and so far it's been 3 times in all to raid her fridge. She must have a lot of good food. Yeah, it looks like the mother bear is peeling off the boards, and the cub can get in there because it's a smaller space. Once inside, the bear makes its way into the kitchen and takes the food. That's crazy. Wish we had some video. We don't, but nice story anyway. We got more to cover in just a moment. We want to say thank you to Is This Live for 20 Culture Casino memberships. Holy cow, what a way to start off this particular portion of the program. Is This Live also dropped a member chat. 17 months, my friend says. It's a dog eat dog world, Sammy. And I am wearing milk bone underwear. One of the greatest sitcoms in history. Yeah, Norm. One of my favorite jokes, I still say to this day. And somebody says, what's going down? And I always say, my butt on this bar stool. Classic Norm. Years and years of amazing stuff. But also amazing is this day in history. On May 21st, Griffin tells us that 1927 aviators Charles Lindbergh, in the spirit of St. Louis, landed in Paris, completing the first solo transatlantic flight. Tickets from NYC to Paris now cost $730. So you can get them on sale, but yeah, or you can use points. I use a lot of points. But I want to say thank you to our friend Griffin for the daily history lesson. It is valuable, and I appreciate it, and I never want to miss it if it's available. And Griffin saying hi to everybody. We got a lot of people out there in the chat. We also had a couple of things, including a Tobak dropping some love earlier on in the show. We're going to grab that right now. Tobak for 5 in Rumble Rant says, I know I said I would be Tobak from chat, like Norm from Cheers, but I take it back. I'm too middle-aged and mildly attractive to expire. Well, I'm just glad you're here, Tobak. You are amazing. Yeah. You guys are incredible. Yeah. And if anybody wants to send me, Bitcoin, let me know. I'll figure out how to accept that. Just so you know, because apparently that's worth some money. He says slyly. Well, what a day. So the reason I ran the story that I did yesterday is because Pedro gets away with everything. He does. There should be something that he is held accountable for, and he is not. I think that we live in a world that needs to be pushing back now on all the nonsense that has been pushed on us for 12 years. And I think that it's very, very important that we do that in such a way as it never comes back again. A lot of this is going to require us to be a little more political than many of us are comfortable with. We're going to have to push back on some areas, not just in entertainment, which we're all, privy to, but also a little bit political. We're going to have to get our leaders to listen for a change and to basically outlaw any action by any international body and try to extricate ourselves from a lot of treaties. We do not want to recognize all these quote unquote world bodies that are trying to get rid of our sovereignty. Believe it or not, that's what many of these treaties are designed to do, whether it be the Paris Accords or the WHO or anything else. We also need to figure out a way to get us out of the UN. Because I assure you, the UN's body is fully corrupted. They utilize all sorts of privileges as elites that they certainly don't deserve. And we don't need to fund another competing military that can be another sieve for weapons and money to go out to all the bad guys, because the UN is nothing but the bad blue in any of these international incidents. At least that's the way it's been for the last 25 years. So that'll save us an awful lot of money that we should be spending here at home, or not spending at all if you're interested in getting rid of the debt and the deficit. All of our gifties that go to these agencies are misspent. And as a matter of fact, Marco Rubio testified yesterday that 12 cents of every dollar that went into USAID was actually spent on any of the things it was supposed to be. Every other bit of it, I think that's, is that 88 cents? I think it is. That 88 cents went into people's pockets somehow. And that can't be allowed to continue. So USAID, under better leadership might be better off. But it certainly exposed a lot of politicians with their hands out through various NGOs. And I think as we continue to dive deeper into those NGOs, we will be able to expose a lot of problems. True story. We've got more out there from all of you. I'll jump on to Mark Daly's super duper right now. It says from our good friend Mark. Cash said Epstein was a self removal. Yeah, I saw that. He saw the note. Please excuse Jeffrey for his bad behavior. He's been depressed lately. Signed, Epstein's mother. Actually, his brother, Jeff's brother, is adamantly against the idea that he's self-removed. I have a feeling that somebody's going to eat their hat at some point, and I don't want it to be Cash. I don't want it to be Don or Dan, excuse me, Bongino. But I think that they're going to have to come to grips that no matter who they're protecting, doesn't deserve that protection. Well, it's quite possible they're trying to do a misdirect so that they can gather up and or talk to people who would otherwise not do neither. They would hide forever to stay out of that particular targeting zone. But we'll see. I do fear that some of the people that are in these new positions are finding that they have to move some things, and are probably recognizing that in order to move forward, they have to retract some things temporarily. That's the only thing I can think of that would make sense to do that. But there were some other things that needed to be said. So, let's see. Tom F says USAID steal my money. Well, they were doing plenty of that. And let's see. I don't call the expenditures for all of the garbage globalism out there. I don't call the hundreds of billions a couple of bucks. Okay. I would rather we not spend that couple or who knows, untold hundreds of millions of dollars, trillions of dollars, I guess, potentially. I'd rather save that and not create more deficit or debt. Yeah. Everybody should be pulling their own weight. And we are not going to be the bank, the military, any of that anymore. We'll keep the seas free so that trade still moves. But anything else, I don't know that we owe anybody an obligation anymore. Yeah, Dean Krantz is talking about issues going back to October of 1983. And yeah, this is not good business. I think we've realized that. Let's see what else is out there. Juliet's out there. Thank you for waving your wand from all the way across the pond. Much appreciated. All of my folks are amazing. Thank you to all my wrenches, all my members, all my subscribers, and everybody who accidentally showed up here somehow on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Minds, or Getter, and of course, X, where if you're not following me, you're missing out. I should have many more followers there because I say crazy things on X. Let's see. Wait, is this live? Weatherman's secret identity? I don't believe so. I think they're two completely different, amazing people. And that's right. I think you guys are all amazing. I do want to say thank you to Weatherman for dropping the rooster this morning on somebody, an unsuspecting somebody over on the green machine. Carlos Alfredo Lopez, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. Brother Kelly Matthew Barnes says a little ditty about Jack and Diane. Two American kids growing up the best that they can, or in the heartland, depending upon which verse. The lovely Tina BB is here. She's been larking, got a million things to do, leaving for Alaska. Woo! In 2 weeks. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. That's right. I just want to say thank you for the gifties, and I forgot to do the thing for the gifties. We have to do the thing. I want to say thank you to Is This Live again. But we'll do that in a second after we read Cynthia saying the powerful tend to stay powerful no matter what admin is in office, and they don't Brooke interface from politicians or bureaucrats. Frustrating, but reality. True. But once you get in the club, you stay in the club, and then you start to expose the club. That's something that's going to need to happen more and more frequently. Hey, everybody. All right. Very good. You guys are on top of it all. I do appreciate the support. We are rolling. That was for an amazing gifty of 20 Gulch Casino memberships. That's more names going green. That's our motto around here, especially on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We try to get between 20 and 50 members added to the rolls so that you can see there's a lot here to offer. For example, last night, if you are a gold tier or higher member on the channel, you got to watch a watch party with us. In fact, if you're a gold tier member on the channel, you can go back and we'll rewatch it. It's in the community tab, the directions on how to get there. And those watch parties are crazy fun. We'll be expanding the availability of those to the same levels over on the Discord as we roll out what's on the Discord. I'm very excited about that as well. And on that note, let's keep rolling. I have a story I pulled up because I wanted to talk about it. Bro, Seth 420 was gifted a membership from Weatherman over on the green machine. Thank you, Weatherman and Dude Man, cuz Seth 420, whatever your name is, it was to you. All right, let's get to it. This is a story I set aside because I wanted to get away from the political. Because I knew we were going to have a lot of politics today, and we had the terrible tragedy of losing George Wendt. But and Warner Brothers going in the turlet. Dude, bro, Seth 420 now has the dancing emoji. Look at him go. All right, so let's get to it. We got a story that I think is important. And we should talk about it because there's a lot of changes coming to the entertainment industry. The UFC is definitely going to punch above its weight on the next TV rights deal because live sports is the last bastion of hope for any of these streaming services, and they know it. And we've been talking about this for years now on this channel and others. Of course, you find me over on Midnight's Edge in the morning, usually on Mondays and sometimes on Wednesday and Friday, depending on my availability. But when you look over and back at things that we've talked about on That Park Place or on WDW Pro or Mr. H, we've always had these conversations about how streaming had to adapt to survive. And mind you, there's too many streaming services. I recorded a video yesterday that I'm going to edit for either today or tomorrow, talking about the fact that we're overpaying for streaming by like leaps and bounds. You are drawn into some trial things and you forget about them, and or you occasionally watch something or you subscribe to something for one thing, and you don't unsubscribe. You don't turn off your subscription, so you end up paying over $200 a year in subscription fees for streaming services specifically that you're not using, and that's an average. It's more for some and less for others, and obviously the younger generations are getting hosed harder and they don't even know it. And the room there, believe it or not, there's plenty of room for linear television. Linear TV grew actually in whatever form, whether it be cable or broadcast, but it grew this last quarter, and of course, so did streaming, not by as much. And of course, the number one streamer on television is what? YouTube. Yeah. Now Rumble's starting to climb the charts as far as availability on television. I'm to be led to believe, but I am unsure how people are doing that. I know that I believe, I don't know. I mean, they could have left the planet, but I think there's a channel for Rumble on Roku. So, what's really funny is oftentimes the first thing that pops up on my television is YouTube. And I think that's for most people. But let's get to this rights deal. So, this is a VIP article, so it's behind a paywall. We're not going to violate their wonderful, pay me $10 a month kind of coverage or whatever it costs to be a VIP at Variety. We're just going to dive into the points and talk about them, because in the article below is the fact that the UFC is nearing the end of a deal with ESPN. It's reportedly seeking about $1 billion per year under a new deal. Is the UFC worth $1 billion in streaming rights each and every year? Yeah, it is. Yeah. See, here's the thing. Silver Lake Partners recently took Endeavor and a whole lot of other things private again and out of the public purchasable eye. This was done for a reason, to obfuscate exactly how much money they're about to make. UFC is a giant money printing machine, and as they negotiate these deals with all these live streamers, it's going to make even more money. Now, mind you, same thing with WWE, because Netflix paid big for WWE's Monday Night Raw, and that is incredibly appealing to folks. I have a feeling that Netflix is going to be one of the top bidders for UFC. What do you think? Or do you think Warner is going to be put in a desperate corner where it has to buy it? I don't know. What was really a bummer was when they took away HBO's boxing. They should have followed boxing with UFC and other sports of that nature. They should also be investing heavily in the one and only WNBA team that's worth anything, and that's the team that Caitlin Clark plays for. Other than that, the WNBA is worthless. If you produce a product for over 2 decades, I think it's 3 decades, or we're coming up on three decades for the WNBA, I think that should be viable at that point, and yet it's completely underwritten by the NBA. There would be no WNBA without the NBA. And they need to capitalize on the things that will actually make the money. So if you're looking outside the UFC to live sports for somebody, they should go crazy regional style, even though it would be appealing here in the States on streaming, and just take every single one of the WNBA's Caitlin Clark games. Maybe just invest in Caitlin Clark. I don't know. It's the only way I can see the WNBA being viable at any point in time, because nobody cares. If Caitlin's not playing, whether it be college or professional, nobody cares. There was another lady that came through this last year, but she just blew her crap up because of her attitude. So it is what it is. But this particular league looks to triple the price tag for the media rights. That would be the UFC. And throw a streaming service into the mix. And that is a deal changer, because much like the NFL Network and any of these other instances, throwing your own network, your own streaming service into the mix gives you even more control over everything that your sport is about. And it's why you have NBA TV and all this other stuff. What the future looks like for the UFC is streaming. And I think one of the biggest paydays we've ever seen. $1 billion a year for streaming, and then all the pay-per-views and everything else. I think the UFC is going to be doing really well. Anyway, and yeah, Crazy White Boy says Rumble is on Roku. So yeah, I knew I'd watched it there before. I didn't know if it's still there. Too many ads in YouTube now. I agree with you, Barry the Music Man. What I want is for there to be a reasonable ad avoidance service level. Think about it. A channel back in the day when we had cable, channels didn't really cost all that much to operate. They would bundle all the channels together in a package and sell it to a cable customer. You had basic cable, if you remember that. It was a selection of channels that would just cost them a few cents every month per person. And they kind of cobbled it all together into a package. I think YouTube should probably do that. I think that you would find on YouTube that they would be doing better off if they blocked out things that were, linear or streaming or cable service kind of channels, because there are some on YouTube, and assign them a higher ad rate and a higher ad tier. And those would be the commercials that people would get. The thing is that's not what's drawing people to YouTube. It's you guys. It's us. It's this beautiful team that we have here on each of these amazing channels that I get to actually spend some time on from time to time. I'm very grateful. Those are really the things that make the money, and the people that stick to it, like myself, who are 5-6 years in, and they've built an actual audience. And you guys are constantly contributing to that by subscribing, by sharing videos and live streams out there. You're always contributing to that, whether it be here on YouTube or on Rumble or on X or on Getter or on Minds or any of the other places that you can find me. Pretty soon, I'm going to have my own RMTP Direct that I'm going to try to distribute places. And that'll make it so that people can even go there to see me. And there I'm going to have to sell my own ads or become part of an ad network. I don't know about whether or not it'll be successful, but it's something to try, because, if you want to achieve world domination, you kind of have to make an effort and stick with it for a little while. So regardless, as we continue to grow here, I can just say it's all because of you, and I'm very grateful. Same thing with the memberships and everything else. Those actually literally keep the lights on. And I would not, honestly, I don't think I would still be doing this after these many years if you guys didn't help pay for lights, cameras, stuff like that, equipment that seems to break regularly. I just want to say thank you. But I also want to say thank you for this. We got a Richard James for $5 out there, sending a super duper chat, which I appreciate that, saying Caitlin Clark came out as pro-woke in her Time Athlete of the Year interview. I was a big fan, but won't watch her again unless she goes anti-woke. I did not know that, Richard James. I would say her game speaks against that being something she's in favor of. But that's bad news. Well, she is the only player worth watching anymore. Man, Brittany Griner's worthless, and so was all the other quote unquote superstars in the WNBA that were going to change the game. You can't change the game if you don't acknowledge the problems with your game and with a lack of attendance. You need like 10 Caitlin Clarks to make the WNBA work, to be fair. But thank you for that, and thank you for the $5 and the information, because that does change my opinion pretty substantially. I'll be doing some research on that. Mark Nichols is here. What's up, my friend? Look at that, beautiful puppers. You always share your animals with me, folks, and I appreciate it. And if you're in the Discord And mods, get the Discord link ready. If you're in the Discord, there is a section there for Pets on Parade. Please participate. I love animals and I love to see them. Plus, there's an extra special bear area, which is great. And for those of you who send me messages with bear stories, I want to say thank you, because oftentimes they end up on the channel, almost every time, to be fair. And the Bat Cap was the provider of today's bear story. Barry says something very complimentary. Barry, the music man, says, you make worthy content. Thank you, my friend. I much appreciate it. The Canadian Roland, otherwise known as Randall Orsers, in the house, talking to Davina, who is here as well. And here's my pal, Donovan Bradford. You missed SFX F314 Sabertooth Raptors super chat. I did? Oh, I did. It says, Culture Casino eats blue mushroom from the Super Mario universe and gets smaller than Comics Division. Interesting movie idea. Talks and comics are in it. I think that would be kind of fun. You know, we've talked often about when we get together at these events, like going a day or two early or staying a day or two later and just producing a bunch of skits and stuff like that. And I really do think that'd be a lot of fun. In fact, I am all for it. SFX, you have reminded me and rekindled an idea, and I appreciate you. And thank you for the 5 Culture Casino cash. Much, much appreciated. Holy cow! Our amazing friend Mark Nichols drops $100. $100 make you holla. Holy cow, my friend. The generosity knows no bounds. For $100, Mark Nichols says, happy 23rd birthday to my son, Alex. Also, happy 30th anniversary to my lovely wife. Good vibes, Culturians. Well, great vibes to you, Mark. What great celebrations. And you're sending me the gifts. Holy cow, 23rd birthday. I hope he's doing well. And happy 30th anniversary to my lovely wife. You know, I've got you by a little bit, not by very much, but good vibes to you. And thank you, Mark, for your incredible generosity. You get your own solo bear dance. I want to say again, thank you, Mark, and congratulations. And I hope your anniversary is exceptional. And your support, my friend, amazing. And still love that picture. I don't know. It's me and the dogs. I love the puppies and the kitties and the horses and the cows and the chickens and the roosters. And those little goats, although, man, they destroy things. If you ever have a homestead, you know, you're going to have to evaluate how much work it takes to do everything you can so the goats don't eat through everything. So just because they will. They will. But no, I love all animals for the most part, except for the ones that try to get rid of the other animals. So there's that. And on that note, Butterbiscuit 92 for $1. $1 make you holla over on the Green Machine, where Weatherman is gifted 2 Culture Casino memberships for the day. Butterbiscuit 92 says, Caitlin is more about wanting to play basketball. That's what it looks like to me, right? And, you know, I've watched several of her games now, including going back to college. She does not want to ruffle feathers and say anything controversial, and honestly, I can't blame her because she is physically attacked in games and right in the home opener. If you guys watched that opening game, she was absolutely abused, and the refs are complete and total garbage human beings in the WNBA. They are just scum. And The league has the best thing that's ever happened to it in this basketball player and is wasting it and treating it as badly as they possibly can. Now, if she loses an eye because of these stupid dagger fingernails that these ladies playing basketball have, which is why they cannot hit a mid-range or farther jump shot, because you can't do that rolling that off of those freaking flexible, I don't know, plasticky nail things that are 4 feet long. Scum. For another Culture Casino, Dala Dala make you holla, Butterbiscuit says. Her and her fans are constantly being accused of racism too. Yeah, I saw that most recent thing. That is hot garbage and just kind of one of the worst lies ever. Once again, thank you, Mark Nichols. Thank you to everybody who's just kicked in for the day. You are amazing. All right. We had another couple things roll through. And yeah, we got dude, bro here. We got John Platt is here with his member chat. John Platt and the member chat. That's amazing. That sounds like an album. Should probably make that one. John Platt in the member chat. Or maybe it's a children's book. I don't know. Let me get to it. It's hiding from me. It's hiding. Shh. Be very quiet. John Platt celebrates 6 months. All right, buddy. You've been here longer than that. Hi, Culture and Mods chat. Pedro losing Disney money? Yes. Yeah, and again, one of the other reasons I made the video that I did last night is because this is a guy they've invested like $2 billion into between television and film. And if he makes everybody hate him and everything he stands for because he's a scuzzy human being, well, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt Disney. And I'm okay with that. Disney it loves hurting itself. I mean, we've been watching it. But this is wild. Absolutely wild. Hey, George Morales is in the house. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Says they would have won yesterday if her teammate could make free throws. She missed 3 out of 4. They're supposed to be the best of the best. Well, not everybody probably has Caitlin's dedication, maybe commitment. You know, there's a lot of words you could put in there. But yeah, I'm going to have to look into this Caitlin thing. Hey, everybody, holler if you hear Luke. I hear Luke. What's going on, Luke? Good to see you, bud. Brian and Cindy are in the house. You know, there's an issue when NBA players, both past and present, are saying the league is jealous of Clark. That's a problem. No, it is. I mean, that's like being jealous of Michael Jordan. Right now, if they were to be honest with themselves, and again, they're all tied up in race in the WNBA because they're only exist because of neo-Marxism. They don't exist because of market forces, that's for sure. But they are all tied up in that. And because they're so racist, they can't acknowledge they have Caitlin Clark, who, if they, I guess because of their race, they could call her the female Larry Bird, I guess, comparatively. But it's they just don't have that. And Reese isn't willing to be a good partner. Angel Reese, she could be a good partner to play opposite of Caitlin Clark in a more friendly, competitive way instead of a nasty, you're making more money than me way, or people like you more than me way. But it's wild. And holy cow, what is going on here? Wait a second. Butter Biscuit for $1 says, I can't seem to catch a break. Had a car accident this morning. Guy had essentially slowed way down in the fast lane because of a truck in the next lane and braked, but hydroplaned in the back because of rain. Man, I'm so sorry, Butter Biscuit. That is crappy. Oh my gosh, my friend. Man, I'm so sorry. Well, you're here. Hopefully we're helping. We're cheering you up a little bit, my friend. Hey, Jaco's here. What's up, Jaco? Been a minute. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm glad you're good, dude. I'm glad you're okay. Everybody's going to worry about y'all. Anyway. All right. Well, we did quite a bit today. We talked a little bit about the UFC and some political stuff and all of that. I'm pretty excited to say that we had major support from you guys today. And 45 minutes into the, or 46 minutes into the 6 minute daily, I think we've done fine. I think we've done fine. Like I said, I recorded a couple of videos. I'm hemming and hawing about even finishing them up and editing them. I think maybe we talk a little bit about the streaming thing as kind of a bonus video here in the next couple of days. But I feel like I owe you more, better, more better, mo better. You always want to give people mo better. So we're going to scrounge a couple other story ideas that I've had and go from there. But again, I think that the Fortnite story is going to be a big one for a while. I think that'll be a conversation around that in the gaming sphere as well. And I think we're going to start to see more and more, more and more in the streaming world start to collapse because there's no there's no way it can sustain itself at this point. There's a lot of money getting thrown into content, billions of dollars that nobody cares about. And the biggest problem with that is, and this is because of Disney cheapening its material to try to promote its streaming service, Disney's basically destroyed its catalog. And going forward, it's going to be hard for them to justify the prices that they pay. And Fantastic Four is going to be a disaster. 2 sets of reshoots within the 4 months of release is bad. Major restructuring, especially for the third act, because they foreshadowed it in the Thunderbolts movie, and the audience was less than excited about what the outcome was going to be. Failure. Nobody's really excited for Shalala Ball. Shalala Ball. Do 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 do. Shalala Ball. Do 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 do. Nobody's excited for that. Nobody's excited for Pedro Pascal anymore because he's in everything. I mean, he's literally going to be in 5 movies, I think, in total in the next calendar year. That's dumb. And what, 3 of them are Disney? Nobody cares. They started shooting Doomsday before they had a completed script. And from what I'm to understand, before they had more than an act of a script. In fact, they kind of just had a patchwork quilt, much like the way Marvel had been doing all their failures before. They constantly try to tout the idea that everything they've got is polished and ready to go, but it never is. And we're going to get another one of those films in Fantastic Four in just a couple of months. I mean, we're coming up on it, folks. It's like, what, 4 or 5 weeks away? And Disney put everything right on top of each other, which was dumb. They needed to give Lilo and Stitch, 6-8 weeks. Mission Impossible is in a terrible window, competing with Lilo and Stitch and some other things as well. By the way, something that I had completely forgotten that was in the window for this year was Tron. You got coming up in the next calendar year, Tron, Zootopia 2, Avatar 3, which I think is going to continue to experience diminishing returns. I mean, how many times can you tell the same story? Seriously. And how many times can you do it in such a blatantly political way that the audience keeps returning? Stunning visuals or no, there's only so much movement forward you can do in the technology arena every couple of decades, and James Cameron has already exceeded that. So I don't think we're going to see much improvement on visual effects. Maybe they'll just be finished visual effects and remind everybody that those actually look pretty good. But Disney's in trouble. And they're trying to tout this as the renaissance, the second or third coming of Marvel, and it's not. And we're about to see more garbage in the form of Echo. No, wait, it's not Echo. It just feels like Echo. It's Ironheart. And man, that is so tone deaf. I think everybody's done with Marvel. I mean, Dean is clearly done with Marvel. I don't know about the rest of you, but that's crazy. And Disney Plus is a problem. You're right, Brian. And it's not because of the just the things that you're highlighting here. Parents don't want to have to worry about what they set their kids in front of, and I've been saying that for the better part of 3 years now. Um, the moment Disney decided that they were trying to isolate Hulu until the last possible moment, so they didn't have to pay a giant price tag to Comcast for the last piece. They put a lot of content on Disney minus that they never should have. People shouldn't have to worry about what they're showing their kids. There shouldn't be blatant neo-Marxism in things. There shouldn't be all that kinds of propaganda. They shouldn't be doing identitarian politics. They shouldn't be doing any of that. So, I think Disney put itself against the wall. HBO put itself against the wall because they diminished the value of a brand. Never should have changed the HBO streaming system from what it was. It was effective because it worked in partnership, hand in hand with the linear side. Your subscription had added value. And if you didn't have cable or satellite anymore, you could get access to that same high quality premier television product. They never had to break that divide. Had they not broken that divide, I think Warner Brothers would be in a better situation, or at least Warner Brothers Discovery would be. Apparently, I'm having a full-blown low-power airplane attack on my location. Not really, but it just sounds like it. Let's see. Disney's been Spaceship Vampire. It's almost like Disney's been indirectly admitting multiple times that these past 6 years they haven't done anything that was remotely worth getting excited for since Endgame. Yeah, and they keep giving their mea culpas, but guess what? You keep doing the same stupid crap. People don't like that anymore. Yeah, and parents don't want to have to explain not just sexuality, but all kinds of other things, like, the obvious race baiting to a 3-year-old. They probably have friends of every race at their preschool and their, K to third grade, education. They don't even trouble or shouldn't be trifling with this. Throwing that out there is complete garbage. I think people get upset. Anyway. John says, to be quite honest, apart from the fact that Fantastic Four First Steps has a dumb female Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Rad, the original Silver Surfer, I was thinking about seeing it. But after Pedro, nope. Yeah. And look, the worst part of it is that they haven't changed anything. In fact, they've doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, quintupled down, whatever you want to say at this point, to give you the MCU. The MCU is in full effect. That's what Sue Storm's going to be all about, guys. This film is an MCU film proper, and so is the thing preceding it in the form of Ironheart. And again, none of these characters from that particular age of political insertion, and I'll just say it that way because they like to insert a lot of things at Disney now. But from that very moment, everything went downhill, and that's across the board. And one of the reasons why they leaned into this content is they could say, well, it was in the comic books. No, it was in the Marvel Disney comic books, and the stuff that creeped in before that's completely different. And sure, you can take characters and storylines from, issues past, but update them for a modern audience. And the minute you use that phrase, updated for a modern audience, you're screwed because it's going to be neo-Marxist identitarianism garbage. And that's what Disney is. Disney has destroyed what was left of their family appeal, and they're about to pay that price in big bucks as tomorrow opens the biggest theme park opening in decades, because Epic Universe is open, and it's going to get crazy. And I'm going to watch it. I hope you are too. I'm going to watch my friends do stuff everywhere, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. All right, folks, seriously, I tried to end the show 10 minutes ago, but you guys, pull me back in, and that's fine. But y'all are amazing. Jan says, that is awesome stage when guys stop going to movies just because they know the female star is going to jiggle at them and not act. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, nobody on this planet is going to deny, male or female of a given age, of adult age, I'll say, that a little bit of titillation isn't something that they're overly offended by. In fact, sometimes they're drawn to go see material that has that kind of thing or salaciousness. And again, it was not really part of the conversation for the video that I did yesterday, which if you haven't watched, please go watch and leave me a comment and a thumbs up. That would be major appreciation. In fact, you have plenty of time to do it before Midnight's Edge in the morning, which this show will automatically redirect to. But I wasn't trying to point out that the most well-known role that Dakota Johnson played was the role in 50 Shades of Grey, and she did really well in that role. Okay, but that particular film was based on, believe it or not, a series of books by a female television producer, at least if my memory serves. And it was just kind of about this female reverse power fantasy situation that some people really enjoyed. I didn't mind the movies so much. I understood them for what they were. But I don't think Dakota Johnson was ever given an opportunity to actually act. And she thought she was getting an opportunity to step into a superhero role with the Madam Web film that Sony put together. And she didn't even get to do that. And she fired her agency right after that. Especially as they were going through the press period, and she realized she'd been sold a bill of goods and that there would never be another one of these ever again. And again, it was also full of identitarian politics, and I think nobody has time for that anymore. Regardless, the whole reason I made the video was because Pedro was doing something scummy again, or suggested something scummy. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the standards being lowered each and every day. And I think that's a real problem in our society. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm glad to get them out there in the world. And we've got a lot. We've got a lot to get to over the course of the next few weeks. So stick around. Hopefully we have the new website opening up here at the end of the month. The new reaction channel should be getting up and going here sometime the beginning of next month, the beginning of June. And I'm going to try to challenge you in other ways. We'll move away for the reaction channel. We'll be moving away from business entertainment, news and information. We'll be going to... We'll be talking a little bit about the world around us and reacting to some of the ridiculousness that people post about themselves, which is a phenomenon I still don't understand with TikTok, etc., etc. On that note, let's say it this way. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. For sure. And Well, Wilton and let's have Wilton throw me off a roof. How about that? That sounds fun.
Why, hello there, random citizen.
Oh, hey there, little buddy. How's it going?
Have you subscribed to Culture Casino yet?
Well, no.
Friggin'
Oh!
These guys, I tell ya.
Oh!
Dang it, I missed. Why won't these guys just subscribe already?
That hurt.